All right, we're here with the head coach of the Mineola Yellow Jackets, Coach Luke Blackwell. Coach, how are we doing today?
Doing good, Kyle. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's talk about it. You were reassigned to the head coach position in last night's board meeting for Mineola ISD. A unanimous vote got you back to the head coach position. You've been the athletic director. What is your feeling now being back at the helm and taking over the reins again of the football program there in Mineola?
Yeah, obviously, very excited. Number one, it seems like it's been a long time. It's really only been 2 seasons, but lots going on in that time, and uh, and obviously there's a lot of aspects to the football program and things that I miss, and I'm excited and looking forward to getting back into. So very excited.
Well, what's it been like these last 2 years? Because being the athletic director, you've still been around the program. You just haven't been on the sidelines coaching, but you've still been around the other teams as well, the other athletic teams. So what's it been like being around the athletics, but not being able to coach?
Yeah, so it's different. In a lot of ways, it's the relationships with the coaches, the relationships with the kids. Some of those things become different uh, in that more of an administrative role. And so I'm really looking forward to getting back into that part. A lot of times it's like you do a lot of the work without the reward at the end. It's just I don't, being out there on Friday nights and those ball, it's just a different feeling than there is in anything else you do. And I certainly miss that and excited to get the opportunity to do that again.
Well, being out of it for a couple of years, being and having a different view of things, a kind of a larger view of the whole program and a whole, have you learned anything differently that you're going to maybe coach differently when you get back on the sidelines? Have you kind of got a different view on anything?
That's a good question, and I think you do. I think having stepped back, I think it allows your perspective to change a little bit, and maybe you see things a little bit differently, or maybe you notice things that maybe wouldn't have been as obvious to you when you're in there doing it. So I definitely think there's things that I've picked up on that I can use and help us be successful in the future.
Well, let's talk about Jace. The reason you stepped away to begin with was Jace was battling cancer, and thankfully he's rang the bell, so he's battled through that. And what was those 2 years like? Just kind of taking a step away from what you love to do, coaching, to
Sure.
to really be there for your family and focus on that. What were those 2 years like for you?
Well, number one, awful thankful to this school district and the community and Mr. Mize and the board for allowing me the opportunity to do that. And I know that wasn't wasn't really a customary thing, but on a personal level, it did a lot for me and our family and allowed me some flexibility to be able to be with Jason and be with the family and be present during that battle and a lot of that tough stuff and things that I needed to be involved in and be at and so it gave me an opportunity to do that and at a time that it needed to be done and yeah, he's come a long way. He got to ring the bell at the end of October. He's not taking chemotherapy anymore, and now we're trying to transition back to normal. That's kind of where we're at right now. So he's going to school 3 days a week. He's enjoying that, and we're looking to continue that and maybe even progress that as we go along here. So
Well, we are so happy to hear that Jace is doing well, and you're right, back to normal. Coach Blackwell, that back to the head coach of the Mineola Yellow Jackets. Kind of feels like everything's coming back to normal here. So, real quick before we let you get out of here, we got four East Texas teams playing at state this week. We got Woodville, you got Malakoff, Kilgore, and Carthage. Coach, do you got any picks on those four games? Who's bringing home
and
some
I don't know,
titles?
I'm an East Texas guy, and I've got some experience with Malakoff, and I can tell you that well coached program, obviously. And we've played them, and they're as tough as they could be. I absolutely would not count them out. Kilgore, happy to see Kilgore get an opportunity to get down there and represent too. And I think, overall, I think East Texas represents year in, year out very well, and you know that. And so at the end of the day, I'll probably be pulling for those guys a little bit. So
Well, hey, it popped up on my memories this week. 8 years ago, this year, Mineola won state
I'll be dang.
2016, and you remember that a little bit, don't do you? Do you remember
I,
anything about that time there, Coach?
I do, but obviously it's like, oh, it seems like a lot longer ago than that. But I do. You know what an exciting time for for our kids, obviously, but our community, and obviously a special group of kids and coaching staff that we got to go experience, and yeah, some really fond memories that last your lifetime, and some really good stuff. And well, we're working to get back to that point now, so
Absolutely,
we'll do it
absolutely.
again.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for taking the time and talking to us today. Congratulations on taking back over the reins of the program, and we look forward to talking to you down the road.
Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate y'all.
All right, thanks, Coach.